Congress will have to act in the new year to avoid another government shutdown, all while millions of Americans brace for an increase in how much they'll pay for health care. Fox 5 Sydney Persing is live on the Hill tonight with what you need to know. Sydney?
Katie, the most recent government shutdown, that was the longest in American history, and it's really hard to believe that just in a matter of weeks, we could be back in that mess again. Again, that shutdown lasted 43 days, and we know it was painful for millions of Americans and so many of our neighbors right here in the DMV. Food banks were overwhelmed, SNAP recipients left in limbo, and federal workers went without pay for so long. Well, that November deal to end the nightmare, it only funded the government through January 30th. January 1st is now on Thursday. Days ago, Congress adjourned for the holidays without making any obvious progress toward funding it any further. I asked George Washington University's Peter Loge what he thinks our viewers should prepare for now.
Odds are very good we're going to have another shutdown. Everybody I've talked to in the House and the Senate just says, well, of course we are. This isn't a theoretical, abstract political debate. This is real lives and real families in Northern Virginia, D.C., Maryland. This is federal workers. These aren't just high-level federal workers who make the news. These are folks who do the day-to-day work of government.
You'll remember that Democrats' main sticking point last time around was that they wanted an extension of health care subsidies, but after 43 days of Republicans refusing to negotiate, a handful of Democrats voted to reopen the government without an extension, which means, as you mentioned, starting in January now, millions of folks across the country are expected to see an increase in how much they pay for premiums each month. Loge thinks that Democrats might again make that health care their sticking point this time around, thinking they might have enough leverage to get Republicans to the table. Some Democrats say it'll be too late by then, as Republicans work to settle on a health care plan too.
The bottom line is very clear. You can't do it after January 1st. Once it expires, the toothpaste is out of the tube.
We have to get into this game. We can't sit back and think that because Democrats have basically owned the health care message in polling over the last 15 years that we should not have a plan. We definitely need one.
And I'll mention, Katie, that after the government reopened, I interviewed a furloughed federal worker who was going back to work. It was her first day, and I asked her if she was excited to get back to work, and she said, sure, but that she was bracing for another shutdown on January 30th. She expected that's where we would be. Certainly, we will be waiting and watching closely to see if that's the case.
Thanks, Sydney.
As people gather to celebrate
New Year's revelers impatient to reach Times Square to welcome 2026 had to be forced back by cops as a barrier collapsed. Cops are not just there for crowd control. There's a massive operation to foil any potential terror attack. The major threat is from lone wolf terrorists. An FBI alert says lone offenders remain a particular concern due to their ability to avoid detection. Authorities are specifically warning about car ramming attacks, like what happened on Bourbon Street in New Orleans last New Year's Eve when an ISIS-inspired terrorist plowed into a crowd, killing 14 and injuring 35 others. The entire New York Police Department, that's the largest in the United States, will be deployed tonight. We're talking about 34,000 officers. Let me show you some of the security measures being taken here in Times Square. Everyone's going to be penned in behind these security barriers, and everyone's going to be searched at 8 entry points. For the first time ever, there's also going to be additional spot searches in the crowd. Now check this out. Intersections are being blocked by concrete barriers and sanitation trucks. Even the manhole covers are being sealed. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch revealed there's a huge undercover police operation underway.
Intelligence teams will also be monitoring social media for potential threats, and response units will be deployed citywide to investigate any reports in real time.
People began lining up at 5 a.m. Revelers tonight will be cold. The mercury will dip to 29 degrees, the coldest since 2017.
How are we keeping warm today? I have like 20,000 layers on. Yeah. 2 scarves, 2 pairs of gloves. We're pretty layered up. 3 pairs of pants, 3 shirts. We're ready.
There was a moving, minute-long moment of silence in Sydney, Australia for the victims of the horrific Bondi Beach attack before a spectacular fireworks display to greet the new year. It's already 2026 in half the world, but the biggest party of all is here in Times Square.
Happy